Welcome to the Friday Night Campfire Stories. My name is Rob, and I will be your host for this evening. If you're new here, every single Friday I share a chapter from one of my original stories with you guys every single week. We are about to enter into Chapter 3 of my story, Utopia. Each week we've been unraveling a little bit more of the mystery of Edenville, and last week we had some big breaking developments in the story. So, if you have not watched chapters 1 and 2, I highly recommend doing that before getting into this because chapter 3 won't make a whole lot of sense. But if you are all caught up, then I know you've been waiting for a minute for this episode to come out, so let's not waste any more time. This is chapter 3 of my story, Utopia.
Utopia, Chapter 3. Anna sat cross-legged on her bedroom floor, the folder spread open in front of her. Papers were scattered everywhere, each one more confusing than the last. She had spent hours poring over the documents she had stolen from the underground room, but the picture they painted was still incomplete. The words on the pages blurred together as her mind raced to make sense of it all. Her biological parents, Victor and Evelyn Gray, names she'd never heard before. Notes about her life that felt clinical and detached, as if she was some kind of project. And the ominous directive, subject must remain in Edenville. What does it all mean? She whispered to herself, her voice thick with frustration. She picked up one of the documents, a timeline of events related to her upbringing. It listed her birth, her arrival in Edenville, and a few key moments in her life, her first day of school, her high school graduation. But entire sections were missing, marked only with blacked-out lines or vague notes like classified information. Anna leaned back against her bed, staring at the ceiling. Why would they hide this from me? What are they so afraid I'll find out? Her gaze drifted to the photo of her adoptive parents on her nightstand. For the first time, she felt a pang of anger when she looked at them. They had been part of this lie, part of the system that had kept her in the dark her entire life. The more she thought about it, the more questions she had. Who were Victor and Evelyn Gray? Why had she been placed in Edenville? And why had the entire town been designed to keep her here, surrounded by people who monitored her every move? She returned to the folder, flipping through the pages for the 100th time. There were medical records detailing her health in painstaking detail, blood tests, psychological evaluations, even reports on her dietary habits. But again, the timeline was incomplete, with huge gaps that left her wondering what was being hidden. One note caught her eye. Subject exhibits no inherited traits. Continued observation necessary. Anna frowned. Inherited traits? What traits? She pushed the thought aside for now. There was too much to process, and every lead seemed to create more questions than answers. As the hours dragged on, Anna felt a gnawing sense of urgency. The walls of her bedroom seemed to close in around her, the town outside feeling more like a prison than ever before. She needed to find out more, but where could she go? The underground complex was too risky to revisit, and her parents had clearly been lying to her for years. She considered Dr. Elias, but quickly dismissed the idea. If he was in contact with the mayor, he was probably part of this conspiracy too. Her thoughts turned to Eva. Eva had encouraged her to dig deeper, even dropping that cryptic hint about the mayor's office. Maybe she knew more than she was letting on. But could she be trusted? Anna sighed and closed the folder, stuffing the papers back into her bag. If she was going to figure this out, she couldn't do it alone. And for now, Eva was her only option. As the first light of dawn crept through her window, Anna made up her mind. She'd meet with Eva after college orientation and see if her friend could help her piece together the puzzle. But as she climbed into bed, one thought lingered in her mind, keeping sleep at bay. If the entire town was in on this, how far would they go to stop her from finding the truth? Anna sat on the edge of Eva's bed, the bag of stolen files clutched tightly in her lap. The room, usually a safe haven full of warmth and laughter, felt unnervingly small. Eva perched cross-legged across from her, her expression unreadable as she waited for Anna to explain. "Okay," Anna began, pulling the folder out and setting it between them. "I need to show you something, but you have to promise me. You can't tell anyone." Eva tilted her head, her usual carefree smile flickering for a moment before returning. "Of course. You know I've got your back." Anna hesitated, then flipped open the folder. Pages of documents, medical charts, and photographs spilled out, revealing the labyrinth of secrets she'd uncovered. Eva's smile faltered as she leaned forward, her fingers brushing lightly over the papers. What is all this?" "It's about me," Anna said, her voice shaking. "And Edenville. These files, everything I thought I knew about my life. It's all a lie." Eva picked up a sheet of paper, her eyes scanning the neatly typed lines. "Your parents," she murmured. "Victor and Evelyn Gray. I thought your parents were named Lila and Marcus." "Exactly," Anna said bitterly. "They're not my real parents. They're just, I don't even know. Caretakers, pretenders. They've been lying to me my whole life." Eva didn't respond right away. Her hand trembled slightly as she picked up another page, her brow furrowing deeper with each line she read. "Ava," Anna said cautiously, noticing her friend's sudden silence. "Are you okay?" Ava looked up, her eyes glinting with something Anna couldn't quite place. "This is huge," she said finally, her voice low. "I mean, if this is true, if all of this is real." She trailed off, shaking her head. "Anna, you have to keep going. This is just the beginning." "I know," Anna said, "but it's like, every time I get close to figuring something out, I hit a wall. There's so much missing, Eva. It's like they're hiding the most important pieces from me." Eva set the paper down and clasped Anna's hands in hers. "Then you need to dig deeper." Anna blinked. "Deeper?" Eva nodded, her grip tightening. "If this is what you found just by sneaking into the mayor's office, imagine what else is out there. You've barely scratched the surface, Anna. The rabbit hole goes so much deeper than this." There was something in Eva's voice, a strange intensity that sent a chill down Anna's spine. "You think so?" Anna asked, her voice barely above a whisper. "I know so," Eva said firmly. Her eyes darted back to the papers, then back to Anna. "But you have to be careful. If they're keeping this from you, they'll do anything to stop you from finding out more." Anna swallowed hard, the weight of Eva's words sinking in. I don't know who to trust anymore." "You can trust me," Eva said quickly, too quickly. "You've always been able to trust me." Anna studied her friend's face, searching for the warmth and familiarity she'd always known. It was still there, but beneath it, something had shifted, something she couldn't quite name. Eva let go of her hands and leaned back, her smile returning. "So, what's the plan? How are you going to figure out the rest?" Anna hesitated. "I don't know yet. I guess I'll start by—" "Whatever you do," Eva interrupted, her tone strangely forceful, "don't stop. If you stop now, they win. You have to see this through, Anna, no matter what it takes." Her words hung in the air, heavy with an urgency that made Anna's stomach churn. "I will," Anna said finally, though the words felt hollow. Eva's smile widened. "Good, because you deserve to know the truth. All of it." As they packed up the files and parted ways, Anna couldn't shake the feeling that something was off. Eva's encouragement had seemed genuine, but there was an edge to her demeanor, a flicker of something Anna didn't recognize. For the first time, Anna wondered if even her best friend might not be who she seemed. The paranoia began the moment Anna left Eva's house. It started small, a lingering glance from a neighbor, a fleeting whisper from across the street. At first, Anna thought she was imagining it, but as the days passed, it became impossible to ignore. People in Edenville weren't acting normal. At the grocery store, Mrs. Callahan, the cheerful baker who had always greeted Anna with cookies and hugs, now watched her with unblinking eyes, her usual warmth replaced by an eerie silence. At the park, the group of teenagers who always played basketball fell quiet when Anna walked past, their heads turning in unison to follow her every move. Even her parents were different. Her father's jokes had grown strained, his laughter hollow. Her mother barely looked her in the eye, her smile too wide, too forced. Anna tried to brush it off, but the feeling of being watched was suffocating. One evening, as Anna sat in her room, scrolling through her laptop, she noticed something odd. The little green light next to her webcam was on, even though she hadn't opened any apps that used it. Her heart raced as she slammed the laptop shut. They're watching me. She decided to test her theory. Walking to the window, she peered through the blinds. At first, the street outside looked as ordinary as ever. But then she saw it, a black car parked across the street. It wasn't one of the familiar vehicles she'd grown up seeing in Edenville, and it hadn't moved in 3 days. Anna's paranoia deepened. She started noticing tiny cameras mounted on streetlights that hadn't been there before. A faint clicking noise echoed through the vents in her room at night, like a microphone adjusting. The final straw came at the diner. Anna had gone there for a milkshake, hoping to clear her head. She sat in her usual booth and tried to focus on the menu. But when the waitress came over, Anna froze. It wasn't Cheryl, the woman who'd worked there for as long as Anna could remember. Instead, it was a stranger, a tall, pale man with a blank expression. "What can I get you?" he asked in a monotone voice. "Where's Cheryl?" Anna asked. The man didn't blink. "She's on vacation." Anna's stomach churned. Cheryl had never taken a vacation in her life. "I'll just have a vanilla milkshake," Anna said cautiously. The man nodded and disappeared into the kitchen. When he returned, he placed the milkshake in front of her without a word. Anna stared at it, her appetite gone. Her eyes darted around the diner. The other patrons were eating and chatting as usual, but something was off. Their conversations were too rehearsed, their laughter too synchronized. Anna stood abruptly and left, leaving the milkshake untouched. As she stepped outside, she felt the weight of countless eyes on her. Back at home, Anna locked herself in her room and pulled out the files she'd taken from the mayor's office. She spread them out on her bed, determined to find answers despite the growing surveillance. But even in her room, she felt watched. She glanced at the air vent, then at her laptop, the little green light haunting her. This is what they want, she thought. They want me to feel trapped. The next day, things escalated. As Anna walked to the library, she noticed the black car following her. It stayed a few blocks back, but it was always there, its windows tinted so dark she couldn't see who was inside. At the library, she tried to use one of the computers to search for anything about Edenville, but every search she typed returned the same message. Access denied. Her frustration boiled over. She slammed her hands on the keyboard, drawing the attention of the librarian. "Everything okay, dear?" the librarian asked, her voice too sweet. Anna forced a smile. "Yeah, just a glitch." The librarian didn't move. She stood there watching, her hands clasped tightly in front of her. Anna logged off and left, her heart pounding. That night, as she lay in bed, she heard a faint hum outside her window. Crawling to the edge of the bed, she peeked through the blinds. A drone hovered just outside, its red light blinking steadily. Anna's breath hitched. She backed away slowly, her mind racing. They're not just watching me, she realized. They're hunting me. The days blurred together. Everywhere Anna went, the cameras followed. Strangers appeared in places they didn't belong. Conversation stopped when she entered a room. Eva tried to comfort her, but even her reassurances felt hollow. "You're imagining things," Eva said with a nervous laugh. "Edenville is the safest place in the world. No one would hurt you." But Anna saw through the cracks in her friend's facade. Even Eva was hiding something. The turning point came when Anna found a note slipped under her door. It was written in blocky, unfamiliar handwriting. "Stop asking questions, or there will be consequences." Anna stared at the note, her hands trembling. The walls of Edenville were closing in on her, and she realized she had to act before it was too late. She had to find the truth, no matter the cost. Anna had been growing increasingly cautious, aware that every move she made was being scrutinized, but she never thought her best friend Eva would be the one to betray her. It happened late one evening. Anna had been sneaking out more often, trying to avoid the ever-watchful eyes of Edenville. This time, she ventured to an old storage building near the edge of town, a place she'd never noticed before. Eva had casually mentioned it during their last conversation. "Maybe you'll find something interesting there," Eva had said with a sly smile, as though she were encouraging Anna's rebellion. At the time, Anna thought Eva was trying to help her. Now she wasn't so sure. The storage building was eerily quiet, its windows fogged and its doors rusted from years of neglect. Anna picked the lock, a skill she'd taught herself over the past few weeks, and stepped inside. The air was damp and heavy, filled with the faint scent of mildew. Rows of file cabinets and dusty shelves stretched out before her. Anna felt her pulse quicken. If there was anything useful to find, it would be here. She began rifling through the cabinets, her fingers flipping through old papers and faded photographs. Most of it seemed inconsequential: inventory lists, maintenance schedules, blueprints of Edenville's infrastructure. But then she found it, a folder marked with her name. Her hands trembled as she opened it. Inside were records of her medical history, psychological evaluations, and reports detailing her interactions with the townspeople. The most chilling part was a recent entry, dated just a few days prior, describing her growing paranoia and rebellious tendencies. "They've been tracking everything," she whispered to herself, her voice barely audible. But before she could delve further, the sound of approaching footsteps froze her in place. She quickly shoved the folder into her backpack and crouched behind a shelf, holding her breath. A flashlight beam swept across the room. "Search everywhere," a gruff voice commanded. Anna's heart pounded in her chest as the footsteps grew louder. She peeked through a crack in the shelf and saw two men in black uniforms scanning the area. "How did they know I was here?" she thought, panic rising. She stayed perfectly still, praying they wouldn't find her. After a tense few minutes, the men moved toward the exit. "She's not here," one of them said. "Let's sweep the perimeter." As soon as they were gone, Anna bolted for the back door, slipping out into the night. She ran as fast as she could, her breath coming in short, sharp gasps. Her mind raced with questions. How had they known she was there? By the time Anna made it home, she was drenched in sweat and shaking. She locked her bedroom door and pulled out the folder, spreading its contents across her desk. But she couldn't focus. One thought kept gnawing at her. The only person she'd told about the storage building was Eva. The realization hit her like a punch to the gut. Eva had betrayed her. The next day, Anna confronted Eva in the park, where they often met. Eva greeted her with her usual cheerful demeanor, but Anna could see the cracks beneath her smile. "You set me up," Anna said, her voice trembling with anger. Eva blinked, feigning confusion. "What are you talking about?" "Don't play dumb," Anna snapped. "I told you about the storage building, and suddenly they knew exactly where to find me. You're the only person I trusted with that." Eva's face faltered for a moment before she plastered on a sympathetic expression. "Anna, I would never—" "Stop lying," Anna shouted, drawing the attention of a few passers-by. "You've been feeding them information, haven't you? You've been working for them this whole time." Eva's eyes darted around, her voice lowering to a whisper. "You need to calm down, Anna. People are watching." "I don't care," Anna said, her voice cracking. "You were supposed to be my friend." For a brief moment, guilt flickered across Eva's face, but it was quickly replaced by a cold, calculated expression. "You don't understand, Anna," she said. "It's not what you think." "Then explain it to me," Anna demanded. Eva hesitated, her lips pressing into a thin line. "You're getting too close to things you shouldn't know. I was trying to protect you." "Protect me?" Anna scoffed. "You sold me out." Eva stepped closer, lowering her voice further. "You have no idea what you're up against. If you keep pushing, they'll destroy you." Anna took a step back, her heart breaking. "You're just like them." Eva's expression softened for a moment, but she quickly turned and walked away, leaving Anna standing alone in the park. As Anna watched her friend disappear into the distance, she felt a mix of betrayal and determination. Whatever Eva's role was in this twisted game, it only solidified one thing. Anna was on her own, and she would find the truth, no matter the cost. Anna had been wandering through the town square when she spotted Dr. Elias exiting the cafe, a paper cup in hand. Despite everything, she decided to act normal. She gave him a warm smile, waving as she approached. "Dr. Elias, fancy seeing you here," she said casually, though her heart was racing. He returned the smile, though it seemed more strained than usual. "Anna, good to see you. How are you feeling these days?" She shrugged, trying to seem at ease. "Same as always, nothing new." "That's good," he said, his tone almost too neutral, "but we need to talk." Anna's stomach sank. "About what?" Dr. Elias reached into his coat pocket and pulled out a small, amber-colored prescription bottle. The white label bore her name in bold letters, along with dosage instructions and a nondescript medical logo she didn't recognize. "These are for you," he said, extending the bottle toward her. Anna hesitated, her brow furrowing. "I don't understand. The last time I saw you, you said I was in perfect health." Dr. Elias's eyes darted around the square, scanning for onlookers. "Things change," he said quietly. "Just trust me on this." She reluctantly took the bottle, its weight feeling heavier than it should. "What are they for?" "They're for your well-being," he said cryptically. Then, leaning closer, he added in a hushed tone, "It's best to take them at night when it's dark and no one's around. Do you understand?" Anna's heart raced. "What do you mean by that?" Dr. Elias straightened, his professional demeanor snapping back into place. "Just follow the instructions. Trust me, Anna." He gave her a faint smile and walked away, leaving her standing there, clutching the bottle. That night, Anna sat cross-legged on her bed, staring at the bottle under the dim light of her bedside lamp. She turned it over in her hands, her mind racing with questions. Why would Dr. Elias prescribe her something without explanation? And why the secrecy? Finally, she unscrewed the cap and peered inside. The faint chemical smell of pills wafted out, but something else caught her eye. Nestled among the tablets was a folded piece of paper. Her pulse quickened as she tipped the contents onto her bedspread, carefully unfolding the note. In hurried, almost frantic handwriting, the note read, "Anna, do not take these pills. Dispose of them discreetly. Meet me tomorrow night, 10 p.m., at the old greenhouse on the outskirts of town. Tell no one. It's time you knew the truth." Her breath hitched as she read the message. Dr. Elias was trying to help her. But why this way? What truth could be so dangerous that it required this level of secrecy? She carefully placed the pills back into the bottle, rescrewing the cap tightly. Sliding the bottle and note under her pillow, she turned off the light and lay in the dark, staring at the ceiling. Her mind swirled with possibilities and fears. If Dr. Elias was risking so much to help her, then the answers she sought might be far more dangerous than she'd ever imagined. Tomorrow couldn't come soon enough. The old greenhouse loomed in the darkness, its glass panels smeared with grime, and vines crawling over its frame like veins. Anna stepped carefully through the overgrown grass, her heart pounding in her chest. The faint glow of her phone's flashlight guided her as she pushed open the creaking door and stepped inside. "Dr. Elias?" she whispered into the shadows. "Over here," came his familiar voice, hushed but steady. She found him standing near a table cluttered with old gardening tools and wilted plants. His face was drawn, his usually calm demeanor strained. He held a manila folder in his hands, his grip tight as though the contents were burning him. "You came," he said, relief flooding his voice. "I need answers," Anna said firmly. Dr. Elias nodded, handing her the folder. "You deserve to know the truth, Anna. This is about your real parents." Her fingers trembled as she opened the file, her eyes scanning the documents inside. The first page was a faded newspaper clipping with the headline, "World's Most Feared Couple, a Dynasty of Destruction." Beneath the headline was a photograph of a man and woman, their faces cold and calculating, their eyes devoid of compassion. She read further, her breath catching as the details unfolded. The headline recounted acts of unparalleled cruelty. The poisoning of a small village's water supply, leaving hundreds dead or permanently disabled. Orchestrating a worldwide arms trade that prolonged wars, creating chaos and profiting from human suffering. The theft of critical medical supplies from hospitals during a global pandemic, leading to countless preventable deaths. Each event was described in gut-wrenching detail, accompanied by grainy black and white photos of devastation. Anna flipped through the pages, her disbelief mounting with every word. They did all of this. Dr. Elias nodded grimly. Your birth parents were brilliant, charismatic, and ruthless. They hid behind philanthropy and wealth, but were among the most feared individuals in the world. No one was safe from their grasp. Anna's voice cracked as she asked, why didn't anyone stop them? They were untouchable, Dr. Elias explained. They built an empire of fear, and when they were finally caught, the world celebrated their downfall, but then came the complication. You. Anna froze. Me. Before Anna could ask another question, the sound of tires crunching on gravel echoed outside. Headlights pierced through the cracks in the greenhouse's walls. Dr. Elias's face paled. They found us. What? Anna whispered, panic setting in. Dr. Elias grabbed her shoulders, his eyes locking onto hers. Run, Anna. Now. I can't leave you. Go, he hissed, shoving her toward the back entrance. Anna bolted through the overgrown paths behind the greenhouse, her breath hitching as the sounds of car doors slamming and voices shouting filled the air. She crouched behind a cluster of bushes, her heart hammering as she watched the scene unfold. The mayor stepped out of one of the cars, his polished shoes glinting in the headlights. Behind him, several policemen fanned out, their weapons drawn. Dr. Elias, the mayor called out smoothly, you've caused enough trouble. Hand over whatever you have. Dr. Elias stood his ground, his expression defiant. She deserves to know the truth. The mayor's smile turned icy. You've overstepped your bounds. He nodded to the officers. 2 policemen seized Dr. Elias, forcing him to the ground. Anna clenched her fists, her nails digging into her palms as she watched helplessly. The mayor leaned down, his voice dripping with menace. You've made a grave mistake, Elias. Edenville doesn't tolerate betrayal. As they dragged Dr. Elias toward one of the cars, Anna bit her lip to keep from crying out. She stayed frozen in place, waiting until the cars disappeared into the distance before she dared to move. Tears streamed down her face as she stumbled back toward her house, clutching the folder tightly against her chest. Dr. Elias had risked everything to give her the truth, and now it was up to her to uncover the rest. Anna quickly returned home, now more ready than ever to get the truth, and the only people she felt that she could get it from were her adoptive parents. As she returned home, there were familiar sounds started playing through the speakers. The storm siren pierced the silence of the house like a knife, shrill and unrelenting. No, Anna said firmly, her voice shaking with frustration and disbelief. Not again. Her adoptive parents, Lila and Marcus, were already on their feet, their faces pale but their movements resolute. Anna, come on, Marcus said, grabbing her by the arm. She yanked free, her eyes blazing. You're not distracting me this time. What are you hiding? Tell me about my real parents. Lila hesitated, glancing at Marcus for reassurance. He was silent, his jaw tight. Tell me, Anna shouted. Marcus's composure cracked. Enough, Anna. You don't know what you're talking about. Just do as we say. Anna's voice rose with defiance. You're lying. You've been lying my entire life. What were they like? Why am I here? Lila's voice, usually so soothing, turned sharp and cold. Stop asking questions you don't want answers to. Anna's chest tightened. I do want answers. That's all I've ever wanted. Marcus stepped closer, his face shadowed with something Anna hadn't seen before, something dark. You have no idea what kind of people they were. You're better off not knowing. Anna's pulse pounded in her ears. Then why am I here? Why am I in Edenville? What's so special about me that everyone is lying to my face? Lila's voice cracked as she tried to regain control. Anna, please, we're trying to protect you. Protect me from what? She spat. Her parents exchanged a glance that was more than just uneasy. It was fearful. Marcus opened his mouth to speak, but Lila cut him off, her tone venomous. Fine, you want the truth. Your parents weren't saints, Anna. They were monsters. And if you keep digging, you'll ruin everything we've built for you. Anna reeled at Lila's venomous tone, but before she could press further, the siren wailed louder, reverberating through the house. Marcus seized the moment. No time for this, he barked, grabbing Anna's wrist. She struggled, digging her heels into the floor. I'm not going to that basement again. You will, Lila snapped, her voice eerily calm now, or I'll drag you there myself. Their iron grip on her arms was too strong. She thrashed and screamed, but they hauled her toward the basement door. This is just another distraction. You can't keep avoiding this forever, Anna yelled. They didn't respond, their faces stone cold as they pushed her into the dark, musty space. Marcus flicked on the single hanging bulb that barely lit the narrow staircase. Stay here. We'll come for you when it's safe. Lila added, her voice chillingly even. This is for your own good. The door slammed shut, and Anna heard the unmistakable sound of the bolt sliding into place. Her heart pounded in the suffocating silence of the basement. She stumbled back against the wall, the echoes of her parents' sinister tone swirling in her mind. For a moment, she felt tears sting her eyes, but anger quickly replaced them. She pounded on the door, screaming at the top of her lungs. You can't keep me locked away forever. I'll find out the truth. I swear I will. When no answer came, Anna slid down the wall and buried her face in her knees. She refused to cry. Instead, she sat in the dark, plotting her next move. Whatever secrets Edenville held, she was closer than ever to uncovering them. And no siren, no locked door, and no lie from her so-called parents would stop her now. Anna's mind raced as she scanned the storm shelter for any way out. The air felt heavy, and her pulse thundered in her ears. Her eyes darted around until they landed on a narrow vent near the ceiling. It was small, but it might be her only chance. Stacking a few boxes to reach the vent, she pried at the cover, her hands shaking. With one final tug, it popped loose. She climbed up, squeezing through the tight, dusty passage, ignoring the scrapes on her elbows and knees. The vent led outside, and Anna tumbled onto the cool grass, gasping for air. Her house loomed behind her, dark and ominous. But something felt off. The entire street was eerily silent. No sirens, no neighbors. Just the sound of her own labored breathing. Steeling herself, Anna crept next door, her instincts screaming to find answers. She jiggled the handle of the neighbor's back door. It was unlocked. Slipping inside, she was greeted by an unsettling stillness. The house looked normal at first glance, but the kitchen table caught her attention. Papers were strewn across it, covered in handwriting and printed text. Anna leaned closer, her heart sinking as she read. Script, weekly market scene. Script, small talk with Anna. Her breath hitched as she flipped through more pages. Each one detailed interactions, dialogues, and even mannerisms. These weren't notes or journals, they were scripts. The neighbors weren't just townspeople, they were actors. Edenville is a lie, Anna whispered, the weight of the realization crashing down on her. Suddenly, a car door slammed outside. Anna froze, the sound cutting through the silence like a knife. Peeking through the window, she saw the mayor stepping out of his car, flanked by her adoptive parents. Her stomach twisted. They were going inside. Anna watched from the neighbor's window while attempting to stay away from the window, enough to be hidden from their sudden looks. "This is getting out of hand." Lila's voice was sharp and panicked. "She can't know anymore," the mayor said coldly. "We'll handle it." Marcus's voice trembled. "You said this wouldn't happen. We trusted you." The voices faded as they moved deeper into the house. Anna crept toward the back door, her heart pounding. Before she could slip out, shouting erupted from her own house across the street. Angry voices, furniture crashing, and the unmistakable sound of chaos. Anna peered through the window. The mayor stormed out of her house, his face a mask of fury. He held a sleek black device in his hand and raised it to his mouth. His voice boomed across the town, amplified by unseen speakers throughout all of Edenville. "Code Black. The subject has escaped. All units, locate and capture Anna. This is not a drill." The word sent a chill down her spine. From every direction, shadows began to move. Vehicles starting, lights flickering on, and figures emerging into the streets. Anna didn't wait to see what would happen next. She bolted out of the neighbor's house and into the shadows, her mind racing. The scripts clenched tightly in her hand were proof that Edenville was a facade. But now, the entire town was after her. She didn't know where she was going, but one thing was clear. She had to run. She had to find a way out of Edenville. Now.
So that is going to do it for today. I hope that you guys did enjoy. If you did, be sure to click that like button, hit that subscribe button. Next week will be the finale of my story, Utopia, and you're definitely not going to want to miss it. It is quite a shocking revelation, and it's a crazy end to my story, Utopia. So be sure to click that like button, hit that subscribe button. I also make 2 other series every single week. Every Monday I do an episode of Echoes of the Past, which is my paranormal history and haunting series. And then every Wednesday is Far From Fiction, my true crime series. So if either of those interest you as well, please check them out on my channel. And we will see you guys next week or sooner. As always, thank you for spending a little bit of your evening here with me.